Yo, what is up, guys? XRP's at $1.12 right now in CoinMarketCap. Our first tweet comes from Watcher Guru. Just in, Russia to finalize bill tomorrow establishing a legal framework for crypto. Our next tweet comes from Bank XRP. Just in, Ripple executive reveal why XRPL was built fast from day one, not by chance, but by design. No smart contracts needed. Native ledger functionality handles escrow, DEX, and compliance directly via API. No need to build it yourself. Result 3 to 4 second settlement, sub-cent cost, purpose-built for payments, not speculation. This is the infrastructure edge most people still don't talk about. Let's watch this video.
Why was XRP so fast from the beginning on when other blockchains were actually quite slow, at least in the beginning?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think the founders of the XRP ledger built the XRP ledger to be it's meant for payments and financial institutions. The Architecturally, the way XRPL is set up is that there aren't smart contracts per se, but there's a lot of native functionality that exists on the XRP ledger that allows you to do the same things that smart contracts do, but by just accessing via API endpoints that functionality on the ledger. So you don't need to build your own escrow functionality. You don't need to build your own DEX, for example. You don't have to build your own central limit order book or compliance technology. You can just leverage features that are already available on the XRP ledger today and really plug in. And thinking about, like, we've always suggested amendments to the ledger. We have the community coming in making proposals for how the ledger grows from here out. All of those enhancements have come with a very singular focus, which is how can you grow broad-based adoption in the safest possible way and the most scalable way that you can. And what that means is, and I think this is where the vision was very powerful right from the beginning, is if you go to a Starbucks and you want to buy a coffee, um, you don't want to land up spending $20 or $30 on gas. You also want it to be reliable, that the block time can confirm in 3 to 4 seconds, so that you can make a payment reliably on time. And so those are some of the very basic principles that went into the design of the ledger, just purpose built for payments or movement of value, which is really powerful. Whether it's payments of XRP, a stable coin on the XRP ledger, or another tokenized asset, it's the same speed cost principle.
Smash that subscribe button and hit that like button if you believe XRP will reach $3 again this year. Our next tweet comes from Crypto Barbie. Massive news. The White House has agreed on an ethics package for the Clarity Act. It's happening this year. Our next tweet comes from Smoke DQG. Remember, once regulations are established, banks will fully enter the crypto market. Listen, let's watch this video.
A good compromise is everyone leaves a little bit unhappy, right? But I think what's going to happen is that after market structure passes, the banks are going to get fully into the crypto industry. So we're not going to have a separate banking industry and crypto industry. It's going to be one digital assets industry. And I think
And will they be regulated the
their
same
opinions
way?
are going to evolve over time. And I bet you, over time, the banks like the idea of paying yield because they're going to be in the stablecoin business.
But will they also be regulated the same way? And I guess that's a big, I mean, the banks will say, hey, if they get to do all the same things we do, how come they don't get regulated the same way?
Well, I guess because they're offering slightly different products, right?
Yeah.
So, but I mean, everyone offering the same product should be regulated in the same way, and we want to get to that harmonization.
Our next tweet comes from Cointelegraph. Latest, former New York Governor Andrew Cuomo has joined OKX's board as the crypto exchange expands in the US. Cuomo will also co-chair OKX's joint venture with NYSE parent ICE. Our next tweet comes from Bitcoin Magazine. Just in, ICE, NYSE, and OKX joint venture, co-chair Andrew Cuomo talks Clarity Act on Fox. The US should pass the Clarity Act. The rest of the world is ahead of us. Let's watch this video.
I am doing what I did when I was in government. I was a regulator. I was the New York Attorney General, as you know. I regulated securities. I was the Housing and Urban Development Secretary before that, regulated the housing market, Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac.
Right.
As governor, regulated the crypto market, insurance banks. So I think I bring that expertise. We want to do this, but we want to do this safely, and we want to do it right. We want the rules in place. The U.S. should pass the Clarity Act.
Yep.
The rest of the world is already ahead of us. Europe, for example, has ESMA, has MiCA 2.
Our next tweet comes from Smoke DQG. DTCC, with these initial limited production trades now complete, our focus turns to the anticipated October 2026 launch of the DTCC tokenization service. Documented. Our next tweet comes from Bitcoin Magazine. Just in, Circle CEO talks Genius Act and Clarity Act on CNBC. Once the Genius Act goes into effect in January, Every major institution, every major bank, every capital markets firm, payments company, enterprises can all now build on this infrastructure. Let's watch this video.
Custody, digital assets, stablecoins, other tokenized assets, and it gives us the infrastructure to manage USDC directly as the largest regulated digital dollar in the world.
So but a lot of people thought that was what the Genius Act did, and what the Clarity Act, which is, I don't know if it's going to pass or not, is going to do. What?
Well, the Genius Act set the federal law. Under the federal law, a large stablecoin issuer must be supervised by a national bank regulator like the OCC. So we need to fit into their glove, as it were, and the right way to do that is as a national trust bank. And so we are basically conforming with the law, which will go into effect in January of 2027. So the implementation really requires us to evolve our own kind of fiduciary and regulatory apparatus as well.
So the next steps are?
Well, I mean, look, right now, we're in my view, in still the very early stages of the stablecoin market. It has really been a market that grew out of the digital asset trading market. It's now becoming a market for payments. It's now penetrating capital markets with major capital markets firms. But once the Genius Act goes into effect in January, every major institution, every major bank, every capital markets firm, payments companies, enterprises, public companies can all now build on this infrastructure, treat it as digital cash in the economic system. And that's a huge opening up. And that's why, analysts, look at this from a $1 trillion to several $1 trillion in the coming years. So we're at the start. And so for us, it's getting the infrastructure right, getting the regulatory infrastructure right all around the world, getting the technology right, and then building the right global partnerships as well.
Our next tweet comes from Crypto Barbie. Huge news. 50 out of 52 Republicans will vote in favor of the Clarity Act. Next week will be massive. Our next tweet comes from Bitcoin Magazine. Just in, Coinbase Vice Chair talks Clarity Act on CNBC. The Democrats have obtained meaningful concessions to make what was already a strong consumer protection bill that much stronger. Let's watch this video.
But the true measure of a bipartisan bill is not whether everyone gets what they want. It's whether ultimately Americans will be better protected compared to the status quo. And there's actually no meaningful debate in that space. This is going to create, for the first time, a comprehensive federal framework and oversight over the crypto space. And Joe, I think it's important to remember, it's not about no regulation. This is about imposing regulation on the industry for the first time. And so you have a unique opportunity for the trifecta win-win-win. American investors, American innovators, and American standards get to prevail if we get this bill passed.
What will be in the Senate bill that was not in the House bill that Democrats want?
Well, interestingly, in the last few weeks and months, we've seen the Democrats obtain meaningful concessions to strengthen the consumer protection provisions of this bill. You have an illicit finance framework that's been created. You have an FTX loophole that's being closed to prevent things like FTX from happening again. You have insider trading, safeguards, and more disclosures. So really across the board, the Democrats have obtained meaningful concessions to make what was already a strong consumer protection bill that much stronger.
Will there be a change to how crypto is classified in terms of commodities, securities?
Not fundamentally. I mean, first and foremost, you're still going to have the registration, examination, and surveillance infrastructure that was part of the House bill. But the Democrats, what they have done in these additional negotiations is make sure that you have more teeth to make sure that customers are ultimately better protected. Because at the end of the day, this is about customer protections. The status quo lacks this infrastructure, lacks these protections. And the Democrats used this opportunity wisely to make sure that customers were first and foremost in getting this bill.
I mean, banks aren't going away. Crypto's not going away. How's that going to reconcile itself with people like Jamie Dimon? How can we all get along?
It actually is reconciling itself, because if you look below the headlines, what you are seeing institutionally is a wide array of investments and partnerships with companies like Coinbase. Not a week goes by, Joe, even on your show, where someone isn't announcing some new project or investment into crypto. And we're having an inevitable convergence where a few years from now, we're not talking about traditional finance and crypto. We're simply just talking about modern financial institutions, because it appears every modern financial institution recognizes what Coinbase did nearly 15 years ago, which is it's simply a question of when, not if, everyone adopts crypto and the blockchain technology that...
Real quick, if this helped, press the like button. It tells YouTube to show this to people who want the truth, not hype. and press the subscribe button if you're done being so the moon. I've already got your next one right here. Go!